Hello everyone, welcome back to New Zealand Mysteries. This is TJ. In this episode we're going to look at a young man who was killed in Hamilton, New Zealand. His name is Robert Nelson and he died while trying to protect his girlfriend. There is not a lot around about this case. In fact, I had never heard about it. So that's saying something, because I try and think that I'm on top of a lot of the stories around New Zealand. Barely much in the media about it, like a couple of pages, and most of them say the same sort of thing. But every unsolved case deserves its time, so let's look into it. On the quick note, please like or dislike the video, and please subscribe if you can, because that means a hell of a lot to the channel. Hit the notification bell here and select all, or you can select whatever you like, but it will notifies you when I let out a video or cover a case. Alright, let's get into it. So we're going to Wikipedia just to have a look at Hamilton. Hamilton, the Māori name is Kirikiriroa, is a city in the North Island of New Zealand. It is the seat and most populous city of the Waikato region, with a territorial population of 176,500, the country's fourth most populous city. Hamilton is a part of the wider Hamilton urban area, which also encompasses the nearby towns of Ngaruawahia, Te Awamutu and Cambridge. In 2020, Hamilton was awarded the title of Most Beautiful Large City in New Zealand. That's a pretty cool achievement. The area now covered by the city was originally the site of several Māori villages, including Kirikiriroa, from which the city takes its married name. And if we have a look down here, this is the North Island of New Zealand, if you don't know, and this is where Hamilton is located. And if we have a look, looking at Hamilton now on good old Google Maps, what would we do without it? This happens in the suburb of Melville and happens on Matthews Crescent, and just a normal old suburb or street in New Zealand. We're going to start at the nzherald.co.nz with a story. Hamilton shooting victim Robert Nelson died protecting his girlfriend, his sister said, and this was published on the 8th of July 2018. A man fatally shot in a Hamilton house overnight was lying in bed and died protecting his partner in the gunfire, his family says. Robert Nelson, 23, is believed to have died at the scene of a shooting at Matthews Crescent, Melville, about 1 a.m. this morning. His 20-year-old partner, Kaylee, and a 17-year-old man believed to be a family friend were also seriously injured. The two injured victims were taken to Waikato Hospital. This morning, a hospital spokesperson said the woman was in a serious condition in the high dependency unit, which is like ICU, but just under, while the teenager was critical in the intensive care unit. The shooter is still at large. Nelson's family is stunned by the murder, and of course they're going to be absolutely in shock still, even though this was, only 2 years ago. Her sister Erin said they believed the attack was a random or a case of mistaken identity by a gang. She stressed her brother was an innocent person caught in the crossfire, which is just absolutely disturbing that if a mistaken identity, murder is horrible anyway. Somebody arrived to the house and attacked about 4 people inside. There was another person holed up inside who wasn't injured, she said. Her brother had died covering his girlfriend from the bullets, Erin said. She was absolutely gutted and described her brother as her best friend and a fun, happy guy with a bright future. She says, he was a year older than me, his name was Robert, and I'm Erin, so we were Bert and Ernie, making a reference to Sesame Street, I guess. It is absolutely gutting for us, she said. He had such a bright future. He was a chef and just getting his apprenticeship sorted out and about to move on to a real nice restaurant soon. He will be remembered as the fun, happy guy. He always had a smile on his face and a little sparkle in his eye. He was the life of the party and has been taken so savagely. And I know that the hospitality industry is a very close industry. So not only is it the family that's grieving, it's going to be that wider hospitality family as well. Erin continued, said the 2 injured victims had severe injuries and were in intensive care. One of them had gone through surgery. She believed the 2 victims had also been shot. Robert Nelson also had a younger brother and 2 half-siblings. Erin says the family loves him and the world lost a really great person. He has touched a lot of people's lives and they are now going to be missing such a bright person. She says we will have a really good network down here, so we'll be fine, and he was part of one of the biggest hospitality groups in Hamilton, which he was quite a big part of, so we will have lots of support. A neighbour on Matthews Crescent said she slept right through the incident but knew the family who lived at the address. She says they are fabulous neighbours. I'm quite upset about it. They were really kind and nice to me. They never have parties, so I don't know what the hell is going on. The neighbour said that there were 2 armed defenders, squad members guarding the property. So I guess it's probably like in America, it's like a SWAT team. A scene examination will commence today with scientists from the Institute of Environmental Science and Research called in, which is ESR. Anyone with information relating to the incident is asked to contact the investigation team at the Hamilton Police Station or contact Crimestoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. I'll have all these details in the description box below. Please remember that Crimestoppers is absolutely anonymous. I know there's going to be people scared to come forward in this case and are hiding things, and you know, you've just got to get this off your conscience and give some answers to this family. You can also contact Crimestoppers online and go through them anonymously that way as well. You actually don't get any coverage until a year later. So this is from the site Newstalk ZB.co.nz, and this was July in 2019, and there also only seems to be this one picture that the family have released to the media, which is a beautiful picture. Tomorrow marks a year since Hamilton chef Robert Nelson was gunned as he tried to save his shot and wounded girlfriend's life, and police are still hunting those responsible. Robert, aged 23, died in the early hours of the morning of July 8 last year, obviously referring to 2018. He had finished work and went to stay at his girlfriend. His girlfriend answered a knock at the door. 3 men, at least one of them carrying a firearm, forced their way in, firing more than 5 shots as they rampaged through the house. So these guys didn't even wait to see who anyone was. You know, seemingly they just opened fire as soon as they got into the house and started firing at people. The girlfriend, Marfell, 20 at the time, was shot in the femur as the men entered. A 17-year-old staying at the property heard the commotion and got up to confront the intruders. He pushed the girl, Marfell, behind him and stood in front of the gunman. It sounds like a lot of brave young men. Dreadful. The teen was shot 4 times in the head, shoulder and twice in the torso. Marfell scrambled to her bedroom, and when the gunman burst in, Nelson, Robert, got up and ran at them in a bid to protect her from further injury. Marfell and the teen survived, but Robert was shot and killed. The day he was murdered, Nelson's mother, Danette, spoke to the Herald. She said he was hard-working and fun-loving. He had so much potential. He loved to cook. He was really outgoing, she said. His sister Erin spoke out. She was absolutely gutted and described her brother as her best friend and a fun, happy guy with a bright future. Nelson worked at Keystone Bar and Restaurant and was getting ready to start his apprenticeship to become a qualified chef when he was killed. Workmate Amy Lang said he loved cooking. She said during his shift it wouldn't matter if he was 5 hours or 5 minutes in. When he saw you, he always had a smile. Police later confirmed the Matthews Crescent intruders had asked for a senior gang member. Okay, so now we're getting a bit of why they were there. He was at the address at the time, but was not caught up in the shooting. Did these guys search for this guy? Who they were looking for? Police also revealed the attack at the house was not random, but Nelson was not believed to be the intended target. The investigation into Nelson's death is ongoing, and police have a team working full-time on leads and inquiries. They have previously appealed to anyone with information to come forward, believing there are people in the community protecting the intruders and the killer. So information for the Hamilton Police here, I'll put it in the description box below. So here we've got, obviously it's something to do with gangs. These men have turned up looking for the senior gang member, and instead of waiting to find him, they've just opened fire and killed anyone that was in the way, it doesn't matter who they were, and all these very young people. Very, very sad indeed. And then it's saying very, very dangerous people. Very sad. Finally, we have one more article. This is by stuff.co.nz, and it was July 7th, 2019, so it was a year after the killings as well, and it says much the same, but we'll go through it because it's all that we've got. Maybe I'll pick up some info. 1 year after Robert Nelson was shot multiple times while protecting his girlfriend, police say they've got some clear leads to help catch the killer. The 23-year-old Hamilton man died from gunshot injuries he received while shielding girlfriend Kaylee Marfell during the early hours of July the 8th, 2018. He was staying at the Matthews Crescent Melville house for the night when the attack took place. So he didn't even live there. He was just staying overnight with his missus. Nelson had just finished work as a trainee chef at Keystone Bar at the southern end of Victoria Street in Hamilton, and went to see Marfell, his girlfriend. It was about 12:45 a.m. when Marfell answered a knock at the door. The daughter of the senior gang member that lived there at the time. The men asked for him. So it's saying that Marfell was the daughter of a senior gang member that lived there at the time. So maybe she lived there with her dad, and these guys were coming for him. If this is the case, there's going to be a lot of people that know about this and what went down, that's for sure, in the Hamilton scene. And it just means that there's a lot of people keeping their mouths shut. And someone's got to have a conscience and say something. This can't go on. Marfell tried to close the door, but she was shot before the men stormed in. It was then that Marfell fled to her bedroom. Police at the time said this is when Robert tried to protect her and was shot multiple times. A third victim, a 17-year-old male, came out of his room to see what was happening, and he too was shot multiple times before the three assailants fled. The men asked for a senior gang member who was present at the address at the time but was not involved in the altercation. If you have information, Crimestoppers 0800 555 111. It is anonymous. Stop shielding these people. They're not heroes. They don't deserve to have the status. They don't deserve to have people covering up for them. Someone's got to pay for this horrible, horrible death, especially for the family. They need to know, and they need to get some justice. Please join me next time. I'm TJ, and I hope you enjoyed the show. See you later.